Laura Kuenssberg once made a humiliating admission over Brexit and how her former colleague David Dimbleby struck the wrong tone with the public, when he declared "we're out" after the historic referendum in 2016. The BBC's political editor claimed Mr Dimbleby's declaration misled the public, who assumed that his comments meant the UK had automatically left the EU 4 years ago. The nation was stunned when they woke in June 2016, to find that the UK had voted to leave the EU. It caused a major divide within the country after 52% of voters said they wanted out of the bloc, while 48% wished to remain with Brussels. Since, tensions have erupted and the Brexit saga continued, with the UK only formally leaving the EU in January this year. And it was Mr Dimbleby who Ms Kuenssberg argues could take some blame for raising the hopes of Leave backers after his comments, when the vote neared its conclusion. According to the New European, Ms Kuenssberg made the comments last year while discussing the UK's EU exit on the BBC podcast Brexitcast. Co-host Adam Fleming initially made the point about Mr Dimbleby, which was backed by Ms Kuenssberg. The former ITN reporter said, "People thought we would be out the next day." In the 2016 EU referendum campaign, politicians on both sides, including the then Prime Minister David Cameron, stood on platforms and said if you vote this way, it will happen. They said there was no going back, and that this wasn't a vote that you can have a second opinion on. Lo and behold, 3 years later people are scratching their heads in the Labour Party, thinking maybe that was a bit of a problem, that they were trying to undo something that people voted for. There are perfectly legitimate reasons for people to campaign for a second referendum. During her career with the BBC, Ms Kuenssberg has faced a series of allegations surrounding claims she had been biased in her reporting against both Labour and the Conservative Party. In the same year as the UK voted to leave the EU, Ms Kuenssberg saw a petition launched calling for her dismissal. On that occasion, Labour and Jeremy Corbyn supporters claimed she had been biased against the party during the local elections.